What's happening, party people? So it's Rye from airships.com. I am heading south on the 5 to beautiful Southern California, specifically San Diego, where I'm kind of from. I lived in San Diego for about more than 10 years. The bulk of my music career, everything was down in San Diego, and got a lot of friends and family down there. But then I am flying back to my secret location in Hawaii in order to begin the airship project. I posted a rough outline of the next 15 days and what that's going to look like. I haven't posted them yet onto the website. I'm not really sure how I'm going to be doing these updates. I'll probably be doing updates based on a bunch of 30-second clips that I'm going to compile into a 5-minute video every single day. This is an open source project, so I want to make sure that I'm keeping absolute track of everything that I'm doing in a way that everybody can follow along online. Yeah, I've ordered the equipment to land within 48 hours of me landing at the location. I also ordered a big bag of organic brown rice and coffee gear and coffee. And it's been really fun driving around the western United States, seeing all my friends in Arizona, California, Oregon, Utah, Nevada. I've had a blast, but now it's time to actually buckle down and get to work. And yeah, that's what I'm up to. I'm still, I think, basically I've gone from being trepidatious and kind of terrified to being totally exhilarated. It's like that moment right before you jump off the rocks into the water where you're like, you know you're going to jump, you're already there, you already got your bathing suit on, you're going to jump in now. And that's where I'm at. I've already bought my ticket. I've already sent the supplies. I'm doing this. So I'm actually completely exhilarated right now, which coffee helps with that. Coffee is my number one drug of choice. I'm probably going to go totally sober for the duration of this project. So I'm going to cut out, I'm mostly sober anyway. Occasionally I have a couple of beers, that's about it. And I think I'm going to cut out beers just for health reasons, because not that I'm out of shape, I'm in pretty good shape, but I've gained a little tiny bit of weight on these vacation travels, eating out and eating all the holiday food, and definitely visiting my mom and my dad. I ate more than I normally eat, so I'm going to be doing some not necessarily fasting more than I do. I intermittent fast anyway, but just kind of cutting unnecessary carbs. And definitely the number one unnecessary carb for me is beer. So I'm going to be cutting beer altogether as well on February 3rd. Again, not that I've had a problem with it or anything. Not quite the opposite. I'm a very, very moderate drinker, but just, in order to stay totally focused and totally on it, and just get absolutely 100% healthy, I'm going to be eating pretty much nothing but fruit, vegetables, meat, and rice, and drinking a ton of water, and getting some exercise, and building airships full time. So if you look at my list of what's happening starting on February 3rd, I'm going to be working 7 days straight to start. I've been working on the project the entire time. I updated the website. I put a bunch of links to relevant documentation. If you haven't been to openairships.com in a while, you should go again. There's a link to the Popular Science article that was basically a hit piece on my original crowdfunding attempt for this project. And I've been conflicted over that Popular Science article for the last 10 years or 9 years. I think that came out in 2013. So yeah, 9 years. It's on the one hand, it was very harsh and unnecessarily negative, and of course they didn't interview me or call me or anything, which they could have done. If you're a reporter or a journalist and you're going to do your job, you should probably call and interview the person that you're doing the story about, or somebody relevant or related to the project, and they didn't do that. And definitely I think it was like a hit piece just against airships in general and against me personally as well. But I think the criticism overall was really kind of helped me in the end. So it's one of those things where, like, okay, sure, it was harsh and negative, but at the end of the day, it really helped me improve my mindset about this whole project and also improve my design and public image, all of that. So actually, Popular Science, thank you for the hit piece. If you want to read that article where he says I'm full of hot air, trying to make some kind of cute little airship pun, you can go to openairships.com, and there's a link to it now on the site somewhere. I think it's on the fact page. I tried to put all the extra stuff on the fact page. It's the last page on the website, and I just didn't want to clutter up all the other pages with stuff that wasn't specifically relevant to the actual project. And yeah, there's also I also put a link up to a Quora article I wrote a few years ago about why airships aren't in vogue or being used right now. And I believe it's completely intentional. I believe it's intentional by government and corporations. They want to have control of our finances and our actual physical selves. And airships are the antithesis of that desire and requirement by the governments and corporations. I think that the Hindenburg was painted with those giant swastikas on purpose. I think that was all. I don't think any of it was accidental. I think probably it was either sabotaged or intentionally allowed to crash, and with the video on it, and they showed that video ad nauseum, attempting to really dissuade the public from the idea of flight in general and airships specifically. So, but irrespective of that bad press that we got 100 years ago, by the way, before the invention of the altimeter, for example, among other technology as well, there's so many things that are going to benefit the airship industry now that didn't exist 100 years ago. Plastic, computers, computer modeling, 3D printing, composite materials, carbon fiber, Kevlar, electronics. The entire electronic industry didn't even exist when airships were built initially 100 years ago. So yeah, definitely there were a lot of things wrong with the Hindenburg that made it crash. It'd been damaged, painted with thermite, the whole thing. You've heard me go on over and over and over again about the Hindenburg, but it's still the number one question that I'm getting from everybody when I tell them to go look at the website. Obviously, they don't get to the FAQ, or they don't read the FAQ, or whatever. I answer all those questions very specifically and in detail on the FAQ. But now there's a link to the core article as well, and just some other things. Again, any kind of feedback you can give me about the website, how I can improve it, how I can make it better, how I can make the media more compelling, anything like that. If you give me specifics, I will pay you for that. I've got a few investors now, which is exciting. Most of them are pretty minimal, I'll be honest. This is still mostly me at this point as of January 31st, 2022. I think that moving forward, as I'm actually doing it and building it and putting out media every single day, I'm hoping that I do get some additional investors. This is a completely open source crowdfunded project. Just right now, the crowd is 90% me. But that's okay. Most of the things that I've done in my life were crowdfunded and 90% me. So, and I succeeded at most of them. So I'm not complaining. It's a good way to go. You develop kind of like a work ethic when you're faced with adversity and doing things by yourself. So that is what this project is shaping up to be so far as well. I am excited about the idea of getting some genuine investment. If I could get enough investment to hire an aeronautical engineer, a blockchain coder, an electrical engineer, a 3D modeler, if I could get enough investment to hire those 4 staff members for 1 year of open airships. So I think a reasonable living wage at this point is probably about $100,000, especially for a highly skilled engineer. So we're looking at $400,000. If I could get $400,000, then I would have these things built very, very quickly. At least the first model that I plan on flying around the islands. It's going to be very exciting to actually send an airship from one island to another and be able to video that and send that video, share that video with the world on the internet. Lake Shasta, I'm cruising over right now. Can't really see it. Not going to mess with anything. I want to drive safely. Very low, Lake Shasta. It's yet another reason why we need to be building liquid fluoride thorium reactors and pumping fresh water back up into the hills, especially in California. It's so sad, everything that's happening in California. I mean, I lived most of my life in California, even though I don't consider myself a Californian. I graduated high school in Oregon. I owned a farm in Oregon. I was born in Alaska, so I definitely feel like more of a Oregonian or maybe even a Hawaiian at this point. I mean, I've been living in Hawaii for almost 4 years now, so full-time, I still tour in California, Oregon, Alaska, everywhere else, but Utah, Nevada, Arizona. Always get out to Arizona. I like Arizona and Nevada in the wintertime. It's really nice. I think the nicest place I was at on this entire trip was Needles. And Needles is way out in the desert and just brutally hot if you're out there in the summer. But this time of year, Needles was absolutely gorgeous. And I was overjoyed to be there when I was there. It was like the weather was perfect. Everybody was outside riding their dirt bikes and dune buggies and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it was just the perfect temperature, perfect weather. So yeah, if you're thinking about snowboarding, you could do a lot worse than Needles. I don't know if Needles is California or Nevada. It's right on the border, so I can't remember now. But either way, you could buy property in either state and still be in Needles, the municipality area, whatever. Yeah, so I'm really doing it. Check out the list. Again, I'm looking for criticism, harsh criticism. I get a lot of like, oh, that's cool. Oh, you're actually going to do that. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, people either tell me I'm crazy or I'm a genius. I feel like Captain Obvious. I don't feel like I'm crazy or a genius. I feel like, we've been driving cars for the last 100 years, and it's this technology that's just not really progressing at a rate that I think is good enough. Even when you factor in the Tesla and Elon Musk and everything that's going on with the development of the car, it's not good enough. It's not fast enough. It's not decentralized. It's not open source. It's not advocating for the freedom of all humanity. And so it's just not there, You're still stuck on government roads that you're forced to pay taxes for. There's just a lot of things wrong with cars. Even if we automatically, magically somehow switch to the Cybertruck tomorrow, and it was sustainably built, robotically built, using materials and that were, good for the environment and everything. Even if we were doing all that, it wouldn't be enough. Elon Musk still won't open source full self-driving, so it's still a vector of control for the railroad tycoons. In this case, Elon Musk is the new railroad tycoon. Doesn't care about your freedom, doesn't care about liberty, doesn't care about anything ethically related to the development of humanity. Otherwise, he would be all open source everything. If you're anti-open source, if you're not open source, you are a tyrannical, fascist, sociopath, genocidal maniac. Bill Gates, great example. Elon Musk, great example. Jeff Bezos. None of these systems or platforms are open source or decentralized. Therefore, they are maniacal, genocidal sociopaths. And I'm not. I'm going to go build airships. And I'm going to free the entire world, and especially my kids. So, all right, Internet fam, love you. Just an update. I want your harsh criticism. All right, talk soon.